Hey everybody, welcome back to another Dean dinner. I have got a couple dinners for you guys this week. This past week was super delicious. We enjoyed these dinners. So I hope you enjoy this video, and let's go ahead and get started. So for this first dinner, I tried to make some low carb fried okra. This is my first time trying to make this. And y'all, it wasn't horrible, but of course it wasn't like your normal breaded fried okra. And the flour that I used, I ended up using my nut flour, and I think that one is what my issue was. I should have just used almond flour, like plain almond flour, or just the coconut flour. But all in all, it still had the crunch, and it still had the taste of you know, the breaded fried okra. The breading just did not stick as well. So for this low carb one, as you've seen, I just added in some of that flour, the nut flour. I also added in some Parmesan cheese. Those are like your two go-to for any kind of breadings, or you know, any breadings or stuff when you're doing low carb. And then I've got some heavy cream and an egg to do the liquid. And so I'm just going to take, and that is a frozen bag of okra. I did not thaw it. It was still frozen. And I just put a little bit in there, and in the heavy cream mixture, let it get nice and coated. And then I put it into the flour mixture and coated it, and then fried it on the stovetop. along with that fried okra, we had a sweet potato. I've really been enjoying making my sweet potatoes in the air fryer. I just put them in the air fryer with skin on. I think it's like 30-40 minutes, just depends on the size of your sweet potato. And all we've been adding is butter, and it has been so good. And then we just had a steak. These steaks were not the best because of the quality of the steak, but we still really enjoyed this meal. For this next meal, we cooked up some yummy veggies with some chicken thighs. This dish was really good. I found the idea on Pinterest, so don't forget that any recipes that I either talk about on here or I get like the idea from, I may not follow it all the way through, but it's always in my Pinterest boards. I've got one for Dean Dinners, and then I also have one for the new year 2020. This one was really good. I will fix it again. I'll just go by the recipe a little better. Like I said, I did not go by the recipe. I added way too much heavy cream. Just not thinking, to be totally honest. This was a busy night, and I just dumped the heavy cream in, which y'all will see a little later. So if I had done less heavy cream, it would have been more like, you know, chicken and veggies and with a sauce instead of like chicken veggie soup. But flavor-wise, it had really good flavor. We really enjoyed it. So that was just my bad. But for the veggies, I did some mushrooms. I did a couple zucchinis, and then I did some matchstick carrots. Really been enjoying the matchstick carrots lately to help throw in some veggies that, you know, kind of hidden in there. And then the chicken thighs, I just seasoned them up real good. Salt, pepper, and some of that complete seasoning. Y'all know that stuff is life. I love it over here. So I seasoned them up real good. And so first, I'm going to cook my veggies. That is a lot of veggies to cook. This ended up making a whole lot. And definitely if I had made it the right way, it would have been more. But we ended up serving it like as soup. But like I said, it tasted fine. So I'm just going to add some olive oil to the pan. I'm going to let that get nice and hot, and then I'm going to sear the chicken. Y'all know that is a big thing that I do over here. I like to sear any kind of meats, poultry, just to lock in that flavor. The chicken, you are not going to completely cook it through. You're just searing it on both sides, getting some nice color. And then once you'll take those out once they're done. I covered them up with some aluminum foil just to keep them warm. And then you're going to cook your veggies in that. Then you'll add your chicken back in and everything. But this was so good. As you've seen, I did end up adding some Tony's seasoning, and I thought that gave it a really good kick. I have never used that before. From what I remember, Luke says he's used it before. But I bought some, and I've really been enjoying using it. So I'm just going to add all the veggies into that same pot. I've made a huge mess. Make sure that you turn the eye down. As you see me putting a couple in there, I forgot to turn the eye down. So make sure you do that in between, you know, pulling the chicken out and putting your veggies in, because you don't want them just to go straight in and burn. You want to, you know, cook them through. Now that those veggies are pretty well cooked, I'm going to go ahead and add in the mushrooms. I add those in later because mushrooms take a lot less time to cook. So I always add those in last. And no, I don't eat mushrooms, but Luke really likes them. So if there's a time that I can add them in there, if it's something that I can just pick them out, I do, since he really enjoys it. So along with the seasonings that I had already put, like I use salt, pepper, complete seasoning, of course, I'm going to add in some Worcestershire sauce. This is all to taste, so you can change it up however you want to. And then I'm going to add a couple squirts of Dijon mustard. I thought that this helps give some good flavor. It's different, but I think it really made a difference in the sauce that I'm about to make. Now that all the veggies are cooked, I'm going to add in the heavy cream. Like I said at the beginning, I added way too much. So just add a little bit. I would do barely covering, not even covering. Y'all, I went crazy. I don't know why. Like I said, I think this was a busy night, and I just kept on adding and adding, and I was like, what am I doing? And then it was too late, and so it turned into a soup. But it was still delicious. It had a ton of flavor. But if you're wanting like the veggie chicken with the cream sauce, add way less heavy cream. So now that I've got everything mixed in with the heavy cream, I'm going to add the chicken back in, put a lid on it, and let the chicken finish cooking. I just keep checking it and to make sure, until it reaches 165 degrees. Y'all know that we definitely use the thermometers over here. That's just the way that I like to make sure my food's cooked. here it is, all done. It really was good. It was very flavorful. We really enjoyed it. If I had pulled those chicken thighs out and shredded it, it would have been the perfect soup. But it's supposed to be the chicken veggies with a cream sauce, so I didn't shred it. But we did end up serving it in a bowl, and I just kind of chopped my chicken up in my bowl. So definitely, when I make this again, I will use way less cream next time, but this was really good. Really, really good. And then towards the end, I thought, okay, it needed a little something, so of course, bacon is my go-to. So I added in some bacon, and it just made it even better. Heading out on our road trip to Alabama, we stopped to drop Winston off, and Mom cooked dinner that night, and she made some homemade pizzas, which are always delicious. She made a cauliflower crust pizza right there with spinach, chicken, bacon, and Alfredo, and y'all, it was so delicious. I'm definitely going to have to try me some cauliflower crust. And then she also made a regular pizza, regular crust with bacon, and I think she had ham and pepperoni, and it was all delicious. For the last meal on this video, I made some frozen broccoli and cauliflower. I just took both bags, dumped it in the air fryer basket, and sprayed it with some olive oil spray, and then I added salt and pepper and some complete seasoning. I forgot to show y'all that, but I did add those seasonings in there. And I just cooked this in the air fryer at first. Of course, you're going to have that moisture in there since they were frozen. So about halfway through, I took it out, and I made sure to drain that water off. And then I put it back in there, and then that's when it started crisping up. So for this night, I wanted to do like patty melts, but we didn't have any buns or bread. So we just did patty melts with no bread. So that is 1.5 pounds of hamburger meat. Normally I use about 2 pounds for us if we are doing regular hamburgers, because we like to have leftovers for I like to have leftovers for myself for one day that following week, and then Luke takes 2 with him to work for leftovers as well. But since I was doing the patty melts, I didn't worry about having the full amount. I figured that we wouldn't have enough for leftovers, and we didn't. But as you see, I'm just taking and balling it up. And then I've got some parchment paper there, and I'm pressing it down where it's going to get nice and thin with that pan. And y'all, this worked out so good. It worked out perfect. So I repeated this step until all of that meat was gone out of that bag. I seasoned these patties up with some Montreal steak seasoning, and then I just heated up my flat top griddle and cooked them on there. Of course, they're going to cook faster since they are so thin, so just keep an eye on it. Mine did end up turning out kind of dry. I had it too hot at one point, and y'all will see that as it's cooking. So next time when I make these, I'll just make sure that the heat is turned down so it doesn't, cook it that fast. to go on top of Luke's patty melt, I made him some sauteed onions. I took a onion there and just sauteed it up normal, like butter, and some complete seasoning. And then I decided to make it a little different, and I ended up adding in a few dashes of Worcestershire sauce, and then I added in a tablespoon or two of that red pepper jelly, and then just kind of let it cook up. And look how good that looks. Luke said it was really good and flavorful, so I'll definitely make it again, and y'all give it a try because it was delicious. Well, he said it was delicious. I tasted it like with my finger, but I didn't actually eat an onion. Y'all know I don't like onions. But here's the patty melts. Luke, I did 3 high, and then for myself, I did 2 high. So we only had 2 patties left over. But as you can see right there, those patties right there, I definitely had the heat on 2 high, and it, was burning it. And y'all, I'm showing you my little rig I got going there. I cannot find the pan thingy that slides in there to catch the grease. So I just put a pan under there, but it works great. It works great for me. I knew Winston wouldn't eat this, so I fixed him one of those little packs of Easy Mac. And since you make these in the microwave, y'all know that bowl is like scalding hot. And so Mom made me some of these bowl holder, like pot holders for your bowls. She made me some for Christmas, so I got that out and used it, and it helped so much. I love these things. If you've never heard of them, definitely look them up. I know that if you sew, you can get like a DIY pattern. I think that's what she did. Or just contact me, and I'm sure I can talk her into making some. But here is everything: the broccoli and cauliflower, and then the patty. I used mozzarella cheese. That one's mine. I got some mayo and barbecue on mine, and Luke had the onions. But I hope you enjoyed this week's Dean dinner. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Please comment down below. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see y'all later. Bye, guys.